As human beings, we have one plane of reality that connects us all, and that is the physical world. All living beings are connected and interact through it. It is a fundamental avenue of life, and through it we sustain our physical bodies, experience the natural world, and connect with other human beings. In this plane of reality, the truth is one. The laws of physics, the events that took place in the past. These are examples of things that are set in stone and cannot be altered, and since these things cannot be altered and are not subject to interpretation, they must be forms of objective reality. Of course, mankind can theoretically come and try to rewrite the laws of physics or the passages of history. However, it would only be to their own detriment, as these things will no longer hold any value as they have deviated from the truth. All fundamental value in this world is derived from truth. If the laws of physics are rewritten with any other intention than getting closer to the truth, the new information is at risk of being false, and as a result, useless to mankind. Mankind cannot will the laws of physics to change. They are what they are. And the more we understand this and submit to these laws, the more likely we'll be able to understand them and hence adapt to leverage them to our benefit. And that is a fundamental gift of mankind, unlimited capacity for evolution and growth. We hold the capacity to gather information from our environment, and through trial and error we seek the why of how things are the way they are. And through understanding this why and hence truth, we can alter our behavior in a way that produces results we deem beneficial. We are not the masters of the physical world, but instead the servants. The world does not submit to us. In truth, we submit to the world. And the better we are at recognizing this and doing it, the more successful we become. In this case, the definition of successful is being able to achieve a desired outcome consistently through effort. And I believe this is the fundamental definition of success in any endeavor of life. The better you understand the rules of the world, the better able you are to get what you want. It's through the interaction of human desire and the fundamental rules of the world that life emerges. We wanted to cook our food, so we learned how to create fire. We wanted to see in the dark, so we learned how to use electricity. Through time, the fundamental task of mankind has been to understand the world better, to better satisfy our needs as humans. And I say all this to say that understanding this relationship with the world is necessary for any individual or society to move in the right direction. If you are unsatisfied with any part of your life, look towards the truth. Ask yourself what desire it is that you have that is not being satisfied. Then recognize that there is a deficiency in your understanding of the world on some level in relation to that thing. When you recognize that you are deficient, the world becomes your library. The more you learn and the more you understand, the better able you'll be to get the results you want. Consistent receptiveness to the feedback of the world over time leads to experience, and as a result, a better ability to reproduce positive results and minimize or damage control failures. Seeking help is often a step in the right direction. It's essentially an act of humility where you recognize your limitations and decide that it will be in your best interests to defer to someone with more experience. In this case, by recognizing the truth, you are able to make decisions that are truly beneficial, which will ultimately lead to a better life. If one is not willing to admit the reality of the situation, their understanding of the world becomes false and incomplete, and with this distortion of reality, they'll find that it becomes difficult to achieve the results they set out to achieve. The failures will pile up until the world has humbled you enough to the point where you'll finally look at yourself and admit that you don't actually have an idea what you're doing and need to do some re-evaluation. I guess this is what they mean when they say the same lessons will repeat in your life until you finally open your heart to learning. As a result, humility is the truth of humanity, as we are all incomplete and lacking. However, it's only those who are willing to constantly admit this and keep it at the forefront of their mind that go on to learn the most and as a result show up better in the world. Humility is not a virtue for its own sake. It's a virtue because it's the truth of humanity. We are fundamentally weak and ignorant, but we are also blessed with the ability to continuously learn and overcome our weaknesses. Emotions like anger and resentment feed off falsehood, and this is what I mean by the world does not submit to the will of man. When you become angry, on a fundamental subconscious level, you are expressing your dissatisfaction with the situation in hopes that your dissatisfaction will somehow trigger a change in the world that is more accommodating to your needs. What is this other than arrogance and therefore falsehood? You believe that if you show your dissatisfaction, that the outside world will yield to you and comfort you. When it's put like that, it sounds childish, because by definition, it is. Children have an incomplete understanding of the world. Their undeveloped consciousness doesn't allow them to understand their position in the world, and as a result, in their mind, the world revolves around them. And of course, there's nothing wrong with this behavior on children, because they are simply children, of course. However, part of growing up is developing a better understanding of the world, and as a result, shedding the ignorance of childhood, so that you could bear the responsibility of adulthood, and hence have a complete and fulfilling life. The angry person often becomes more and more enraged if they don't snap out of their illusions, because in the real world, this behavior is useless. The world is unbothered with and indifferent to the trifles of human emotion. Man can allow his anger and dissatisfaction to grow as much as he likes, but he soon learns that nothing is reciprocated, and that it is only to the detriment of himself and those around him. Instead, if he accepts his weakness and ignorance as truth and decides to approach the world and God as the servant that he is, he will come to find how the world will open up for him and teach him what he needs to know. So remember that the world does not submit to man's will, and that man's true role in the world is as a servant who is given knowledge in order to save himself. Humility is the truth, arrogance is falsehood. Thank you for listening.